Morning all, how are you today? Welcome to my second lesson of English. Last week we had a bit of a look at fables and I hope those people who had a look at it enjoyed it. This week I thought we'd have a look at fairy tales. I used to love reading my children fairy tales. Now they're too old, they don't want to have their dad read to them anymore. But fairy tales are really important forms of literature. And they have a bit of a system to them, or a plot that's consistent. So generally they all contain magic. There's always characters who are rich or poor. There's always kings, queens, princes, princesses, those sorts of things. There's not always a hero. There's always a villain. Generally somebody will go from rich to poor or from bad to good circumstances. Generally the villain always meets a bad end, and in the original versions these ends are quite gruesome. Now to illustrate this, what I'd like you to do is to watch a classic fairy tale, Rumpelstiltskin. I want you to have a look at it in cartoon form, and I'll put the link up to it in the blog, in the comments section. Once you've watched, I'd like you to read the original story by the Brothers Grimm. It's a little bit different, and it's probably not the story that you're used to, especially the ending. Once you've watched and read, as you're doing it, I'd love you to put your observations, insights, what you thought of it. I'd like you to mention any fairy tales that you like reading or have read to you. Also have a think about, is there such a thing as a modern fairy tale? And for those people who really want to take this a little bit further, there are what's called fractured fairy tales. The best person who's done this is Roald Dahl. So if you have a look at Roald Dahl fractured fairy tales, see what he's done to mess around with fairy tales and how they're written. So anyway, hope you enjoy it. I will be on the site watching. Any comments, observations you have, I'll be there to comment on. Anyone who does some really good comments or observations will get a chocolate, which I'll send out in the post. Anyway, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this little episode of Fairy Tales.